Okay. I think you guys are able to see my screen, correct, right? Can you guys able to see my screen? Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, Navneet.
Okay. See, today I will just try to give the a little bit, introduction about the Azure portal. Okay. So I told you, right, we can create a Azure free trial account for a month. So Microsoft will allow you to create a free trial account and you can use that free trial account for a month and you can do practice for about 28 days. Okay. Either 28 days you can use it or they will give you around 15,000 credits. Actually, that 15,000 credits should be completed. Whatever comes first, either that 15,000 will be exhausted or the 28 days comes first. Okay. Uh, that is the locking period actually means after the 28 days the account will be getting expired no matter if you have used out of 15,000 you use 10,000 or 5,000 remaining credit will be exhausted, correct? And that is the plan. So how to create a free account? In order to create a free trial account for Azure, you should basically have an Hotmail or Outlook email ID. Okay, either anything that is ending with hotmail.com or outlook.com. Sometimes even you can use your Gmail ID as a Microsoft account. And this account is very important. You have to create the proper account. Okay, the same account can be used in the Microsoft Azure the certification path as well. Means whenever you write any kind of Microsoft certifications, right, be it is a server paper or is an Azure, multiple other papers like AZ900, 301, 305, DevOps, AZ400, whatever papers you have taken, you take the exam, right? That will be captured under the same email ID. Once you log in with that email ID, you will have all your tracks there, your certification path, your achievements, your scores, everything will be available in the Microsoft directory. Okay, so the portal, the Microsoft website is like the http://portal.azure.com. Portal.azure.com is the website for Azure. Okay, to create the free trial account, as I already told you, you need a Microsoft account, a credit card and a debit card is required, and a PAN card is mandatory. Okay, so earlier that time debit card was not accepted. Okay, I never tried. That is I have not updated it. But I heard nowadays they're even taking the debit card. But I'm not sure. I need to validate it. Okay, so we'll try it today if possible. So the same thing. You have to go to the portal.azure.com and you have to click on the new email. Okay, and you have to enter the email ID and then it will ask you it will it will give you like a free trial kind of thing. You have to click on that. Once you click on that, it will ask you your name, your email ID. It will also ask your address, PAN number, and then finally when you are submitting, it will ask you the credit card information just to make sure the payment channel is intact. Means whenever you are converting this free trial subscription to the pay as you go subscription, okay, Microsoft should have a proper billing channel. I mean the proper payment channel, correct na? So it is like postpaid. Azure is like postpaid. Okay, so monthly billing will be coming. Okay, the billing will be like as I told you, it is pay per second and pay per minute will be there. If you are running a server, if that server runs for 24 bar 7 into 30 days, even 744 hours will be there. For that, maybe every month within fifth date, okay, first to 30th, the billing will be generated by fifth, before the fifth of every month. Okay, so all at once they will give you the billing. So what happens, automatically the payment will be getting deducted. You don't have to make the payment manually. Okay, the payment will be automatically getting deducted. You should know about it. Okay, being an engineer, being an Azure administrator, you should not worry. I mean, you should not only concentrate about the solution, you should also concentrate and you should also know how the billing meter works in the Azure, how the billing meter works, how the subscription works, and what are the hierarchy you have. Okay, everything that you should have a clear understanding about it. Okay, so this is what you wanted, or this is what you needed in order to create a free trial subscription. Like I mentioned you, that free trial subscription is valid for a month, or you can even there is about 15K credits will be there. Whatever exhaust first or whatever reaches first, then your account will be you will not be able to deploy any kind of services there. Okay, not a problem. And see, once you created a subscription, okay, you can go to the portal.azure.com. Once you go to the portal.azure.com, this is the window. This is the main. This is the main window or the home page. Okay, where you see all the Azure resources. Okay, if you click on this overview tab, okay, if you click on this overview tab, it will give you all the available the features, dashboard, widgets, everything will be coming here. Okay, you can see the Azure Active Directory, virtual machines, resource group, app services, storage account, SQL database, cost management, and virtual networks. If you want to only study about the Azure Active Directory, see, Azure Active Directory is different, on-premises Active Directory is different. The one I'm going to teach you is the on-premises Active Directory. I'm also going to teach you Active Directory, okay? But that is on-premises only. How can you deploy in domain controller? How can you convert one unsecured workgroup environment into a secured domain environment by having a domain in place, okay? How to create a domain controller, how to promote a domain controller, how to deal with the FSMO roles, everything will be studied in the on-premises one. But this Azure Active Directory is the extended version of the on-premises. Whatever users you have created in the on-premises Active Directory, the same can be synced to the Azure Active Directory in order to give the single sign-on, in order to give the access to the Microsoft 365 applications or any kind of applications using single sign-on or multi-factor authentication, whatever blah blah features we have in the cloud, right? We can just leverage by using the AD Connect. There is a service called AD Connect. By using that, you can synchronize all the users from the on-premises to the cloud, that is called as Azure Active Directory. Then the virtual machine, you already know. When somebody talks about infrastructure, infrastructure is nothing but the virtual machines, your networks, your storage. Correct, na? This is what the infrastructure means. That is what we are going to learn in the Azure Infrastructure as a Service (IaaS). Okay, the basic is networking. How a network works. Like we have LAN WAN in the on-premises, we have VNet in the Azure. You can see here virtual network. Okay, okay. So we have virtual network. Okay, so let me take it here. See, this is a virtual network. This virtual network is nothing but we have like LAN and WAN in the on-premises. In the on-premises we have local area network and wide area network, but in the Azure, in the Azure we will call it as virtual networks or VNet. In AWS we will call it as virtual VPC cloud, virtual private cloud. Okay, like that. And you see, on premises, in order to create a database, you need to have a server like server 2016, server 2019. On top of that, you have to install MS SQL packages, Office, SQL database packages 2013, 2017, 2019. But here, without even having a server, you can directly create the databases. Since you are creating the database without the server, we call this kind of servers as PaaS database, because platform is managed by someone. We are just leveraging the database directly. Okay, the server, underlying server will be managed by Microsoft. These are all managed services. Okay, the database can be created like that only, and we call this as PaaS. So like that, all the other things you can see, like resource groups are there, app services are there, storage accounts are there. Okay, so if you don't know anything, okay, so this we call this, the top you see the search box. Now here, this search box, we call it as global search. This search box, we call it as global search. Anything that you want to search, you don't know anything, say for example, in your environment you have around 2500 services are there, okay, or 10,000 resources are there, you don't know which server or which services. Okay, if you want to do, or if you want to get insight, you just come and type the server name or the resource. If you are not sure about the name also, you can just type, say for example, if you want to see the number of disks you have, just come and type here, just come here and type disks. All the disk will be populated. Okay, like if you want the virtual machine, just come here and type virtual machine, just put the virtual VM name. Okay, you don't know where exactly that VM is there, in which resource group it is there. You don't know, right? Just come here and type the VM name like VM01. All the VM01 related resources will be populated here. Correct. Na? Like that, you have multiple services here. You can see if you click on all services, it will be listing everything. Okay, then computer here, networking is here, storage is here, web is here, mobile device management related things are there. Okay, artificial intelligence is there, internet IoT, internet of things is. You see, Azure means, oh, I mean, cloud means it's ocean. You have everything on the cloud, guys. You have everything, anything that you imagine in the technology, you have everything. Earlier, you might have seen the firewalls were only the physical boxes. Nowadays, we have the appliances. We have the appliances, the firewall appliances. You don't need to have a physical box to do the firewalling thing. Okay, you just go build a virtual machine or build a Palo Alto appliance. If you just deploy it, that server itself will act as a firewall. Okay, the easy to manage. You don't need to manage the hardware because Microsoft manages the hardware. You don't need to upgrade the hardware because Microsoft takes care of the maintaining the hardware. Okay, so there are a lot of benefits are there in terms of Microsoft, and this is just an overview about the home page of the Azure. If I move next, one second, somebody is logging in, I guess. Yeah. See now you can see if you go to all services, you can see all the services available services in the cloud. Like if you want to see the resource group, click on resource group. App services are there. This is one of the past instance. Functional function apps are, app functions are there. SQL database are there. Cosmos database are there. So like that, there are various services available in the cloud. Okay, so as soon as you log into the Azure portal, you will be able to see this kind of things. Okay, so first try to get familiar with the Azure portal. Okay, then try to take the no, then try to digest the information you are going to learn from tomorrow onwards. Okay, and see, we can also create the dashboard. See, if you look at here, you have an option called dashboard here. Okay, see, this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard. Okay, you see here new dashboard option, plus symbol is there na. So as soon as you click on this new dashboard, Microsoft will allow you, the Azure portal will allow you to create your own dashboard. What are the dashboards? See, dashboards are nothing but a kind of shortcut, or it kind of shortcut visibility to view something. Say for example, you want to see the last 1 month how many virtual machines got deployed, or if you want to see how many backups are running every day and how many are success and how many are failure. Okay, you want to see, you can even create the dashboards and pin them in the dashboard. If anybody want to quickly have a look, they'll just come to this dashboards and they will browse that, just select the dashboards and understand how many VMs have been built in the last 30 days and how many backups are running every day. Out of 100 backup, imagine you have 100 backups jobs. Okay, out of 100, how many got completed successfully, how many got completed some with some warning, how many got failure. Then it will help you to understand very quickly about the backup status, and if anything gets failed, you can trigger it. See, anyway, backup failure will get the alerts whenever there is a backup got failed, you will get an incident in the service now. Okay, then you go to the Azure portal, click on the backup, that particular VM, and re-trigger the backup. It is not a big deal, but however, if you want a kind of report-based visibility, you can just use the dashboards. So this dashboard can be customized. Okay, so you can also have widgets also as a dashboard. Say for example, you are working in India. So normally when we are working in different time zones, say you are sitting in India, but you are working for some European customers. So what happens when you look at your computer? It will normally show Indian timing, IST timing. But the change activity should not be done in Indian time. The change activity should be performed in the region to which you are performing. Correct na? So that time you can have widgets and the clocks as a dashboards here. Maybe one clock shows you IST timing, another clock shows the CET timing. Okay, then you can now see, okay, what the time is now. Say for example 11 o'clock. Okay, so it is 11 o'clock. Okay, 11 a.m. So you can see what is the current time here. 11 means 3.5 hour down, correct? Huh? So it will be around 9:30 or 9, no, no, 8:30 or something. Maybe it is 8:30 here in the CET time 8:30. So like that you can quickly do a glance, so you can create anything and everything you wanted actually. Okay, you imagine something, you can create that actually, so it will allow you to completely customizable. I mean, it will allow you to complete it completely to get it customized. Okay, that is how this dashboard will help you. Okay, I'll show you how to create a dashboard, how to pin a dashboard, how to delete a dashboard, and you can even share the dashboard to some other people as well. If customer asking something, they wanted to see the overall no, the storage account growth in the last 6 months, if they want to see the trend of the storage account growth, because the storage cost is huge, because they have this egress and ingress data too much, because there are two regions, one is maybe Norway, another one is Amsterdam, maybe something like that, two different data centers. Every day you will transact huge data. Okay, like huge data means TB wise data getting transacted between the two regions. Then your cost for the Azure, the storage cost or the egress and ingress cost will be spiked up. Okay, because in Azure the cost will be like, the storage. Say for example you have two data center here, this is DC1 and you have DC2 here. Egress means anything that goes out of the network. Ingress means anything that comes to the network. Egress means it is in egress means output. Ingress means input. Okay. So this cost, if you just use 10 MB of data copied from here to the data center 2, then there is a certain cost, maybe around 10 DKK. DKK is a Danish crowns actually, so I'm just telling. Or maybe dollars will be huge. So I'm just that's why I'm telling just the DKK. Or even you can use rupees also you can use. Maybe 10 DKK means it is around 800 rupees, because one DKK is about 8 rupees. So 800 rupees. Imagine for a piece of data, for 10 MB of data, you are going to pay 800 rupees. So when you are working as an architect, or when you are working as a solution architect, you have to consider these kind of information also in your mind. Oh, I should not have two servers between two different region, because there is a cost involved in it. Because the data will be always synchronized. Imagine you have 1 terabyte of storage in server 1, and the same data should be replicated to server 2. If you just use this egress and increase, that 1 terabyte of data will be transferred from DC01 to DC02, the data center 1 to data center 2. There will be huge cost for it. So instead of keeping it in two different data center, why can't you plan a single region, and you put in availability zone? AZ1, AZ2, you keep one VM here, one VM here, and in the west, say for example, Western Europe is the region. You put a load balancer here, correct? Na? So people will hit to this load balancer, and that Western Europe load balancer will send availability zone 1, availability zone 2. If this server gets failed also, this server is there to give this application, correct? That is how this load balancing will work. Okay, so those things can also be configured using the dashboards. And I told you all services, you have an option called all services. Okay, if you see this all services, all the damn informations will be getting listed here, and you can just click on, in this, in my case it around 33 devices I have added, 33 records or 33 resources I'm having. In real time, this is a test subscription, that is the reason. Okay, so but in the real time it will be like in a huge, in my office I am just, we have around 46 subscription, we have around 46 Azure subscription, guys. Imagine, in one subscription we have around 8,000 resources, 8,000 resources, and 1,400 servers we have, 1,400 VMs only we have. Imagine. So one VM will have multiple resources. One VM will have a virtual compute, it will have a network interface card, it will have the OS disk, it will have the data disk, then it will also have the NSG rules, correct na? So many other related informations are the resources will be there for one VM. So such kind of resources we have more than 7,000 in one subscription, but we have 46 subscriptions. Imagine, okay? It's a huge one. So if you want to export something, you just click on this option, just click on this name option, select this. Once you select this, everything will get selected and we can export that. There is an option called export. You can export it. Okay. So if you are good enough in query by writing the Custo query or by writing the CLI or in a PowerShell queries, you can even export using the queries as well. Okay. That is about the all resources. It's a one place to see all the deployed resources in the subscription. I'll show you. Okay. And see, this is very, very important actually. Once you are done with the dashboard, okay, so this is the global search, the same thing I was explaining about. This is the global search. I've already explained. This is global search. This search option is done on this box. This is called as global search. Anything that you wish to search, just key in the keyword there, you will be able to get it. Okay, see, can use to globally search the Azure subscription, Azure resources deployed in your subscription can also be searched Azure documentation. If you want to see more, if you want to learn more about a load balancer, or if you want to learn more about app services, or if you want to know more about CDN, the content delivery network. Okay, so you just come here and put the keyword, and you have the document listed there and you can read it. Okay, there you can search either resources or the documentation. Okay, next thing is the hierarchy of cloud. Okay, the hierarchy of cloud means, like, if you consider our political structure na, in India, the first person of the nation is always the president, correct na? And the highest powerful person is prime minister, and we have chief minister in the state, correct na? And we have MLAs in the district, correct na? And then we have many other, panchayat, we have a president, like that. Each and every segment we have one person. So if you want to know the hierarchy of the Azure, okay, the first one is tenant. Tenant means it is the supermost thing actually. Tenant. So once the tenant is there, tenant can have multiple subscriptions. Okay. So one tenant can have multiple subscription. Maybe subscription 1, subscription 2, subscription 3, subscription 4, subscription 5. Okay. And each and every subscription can have multiple resource groups. RG1, RG2, RG3. Then next to the within the resource group, you can have multiple virtual networks, VNets, VNet 1, VNet 2, like that. And within the VNet, you can have multiple subnets, like subnet 1, subnet 2. So if you keep this one VM01, if somebody asks you what is the hierarchy in the Azure cloud, you can tell the least level of hierarchy is the subnet, because in which you will deploy the virtual machine. And where is that subnet will be there? That subnet will be within the VNet will be there. And where is the VNet? The VNet will be sitting inside the resource group. And where is the resource group created? The resource group created within the subscription. Where is the subscription created? That subscription created within the tenant. Where is the tenant? Tenant is there in the Azure portal. That's all. So this is the hierarchy, the ulta order, the reverse order. Okay. This is the subnet is the least, tenant is the most. Okay. So this is how you have to understand the hierarchy. If somebody asks you what is the hierarchy, definitely in the interview they'll ask the question. Okay, definitely they will ask you question in the interview. What is the hierarchy of an Azure? They will ask you. You can tell the list is subnet. You can start from the tenant. One tenant, there will be a single tenant. The single tenant can have multiple subscription. Multiple subscription can have resource group. Resource group can have multiple vnets. Multiple vnets can have multiple subnets. Or you can say ulta. Subnet is the list. Subnet will be there within the vnet. Vnet will be there within the resource group. Resource group will be there within the subscription, and subscription will be there within the tenant. And tenant is there in the Azure portal. So this is the hierarchy of a Azure one. Okay, so that is about the overall Azure portal, a walkthrough before we get started with any of the topic. Any questions so far? Guys, any question? Can you guys able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So if you are done with the, if you have no question, I would like to take few minutes of yours. Okay, I wanted to give an understanding about the data centers and cloud, how the things will be connected, and what do we call some terminologies. Okay, so so before this cloud, we had, I mean, okay, when the computer originates, okay, let me start from the beginning. When the computer starts, okay, the initially the computer. What do you mean by computer? Any idea what do you mean by computer? What do you mean by computer? Can I say it's an electronic device?
Yes.
So what it will do? Guys, we have so many engineers already in the call.
Yeah, it's processing the data.
Exactly, that is important. Computer means it's a device, it's an electronic device. It will process the data. It will ask you some input, it will process and it will give you some output. That is what a computer means, correct? Na? How many types of computers we have? Any idea what how many types of computers we have? There are two types, I know. Can somebody tell me what are those two types? Have you ever heard client and server? What do you mean by client? What do you mean by client computer? A client computer means it is one of the computer which will always consume the data. You have a laptop, you have a desktop, and you have an application called Facebook. Either using the laptop, desktop, or your mobile, you will just use the data, consume the application called Facebook. Correct, na? Even if you shut down your computer, even if you shut down your mobile phone, the Facebook application will not be impacted. Correct, right? So client means I could say he will always a consumer, the consume data. Client means he will always consume the data or consume the services. These are all the basics, guys. Okay. Server means he will always serve the data. Have you ever heard the word called server anytime before? Guys, have you ever heard a word called server?
Yes, sir.
Where you heard? Where you heard?
Usually, organizations will be having their own servers like MNC
Correct.
startup.
Correct. Before, I mean, since you guys are already working in the organizations and you guys have done B, BSc, such kind of technical graduations, you know about client and server, but you may don't know what exactly that means. But if I ask you, maybe your father or your mother, if you ask, Appa, do you know server? What they will tell? Layman terminology, I'm telling. Uneducated people also know the server, but not in the office context, maybe in the some other context.
Someone who serves anything.
Basic layman understanding I wanted, actually layman. If you ask your father what about server, do you know about server, what he will tell?
A hotel server who serves the food.
Exactly, means you have heard the word called server in the hotels. Normally when you go to hotel, a person will come and talk to you. That person is nothing but the server, correct? Now why do we call them as a server? Why we call him as a server and not with other words? Because the server is there to serve the services. His job is to serve the services. Okay, what are the services? Maybe either a coffee, idli, tea, whatever informations you wanted. Their food is the information. Correct. But here in the IT context, when somebody talks about server, maybe some services. That services can be anything. Maybe it is a video call, or maybe it is a audio call, or maybe it is a application called Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, or maybe your email server as well. Correct, na? So that is called as server. So basically, server means who serves the data. Imagine this Facebook application is server is down. Will a client able to access the application Facebook?
No.
He will not be able to access the application because the client consumes an URL like http colon facebook.com, and that facebook.com link, I mean application is hosted here, and the server is not up and running. When you try to do www.facebook.com, it will tell the page cannot be found, the server is unavailable. Okay, that means now you know client have no importance. If the client computer gets shut down, there is no impact. But if a server gets shut down, there will be a huge impact. The application or the services will not be available. Correct, na? So in the traditional data center, in the ancient time, when the computer gets started, when the server 2003 and all came, right? That time we had a concept called data centers. So data centers are nothing but where you keep these kind of servers. Okay, data center. So data center is nothing but it's a place, it's a building. Okay, it's a building. You have the servers are racked here. Okay, maybe this is a server rack. In the server, you have computers are placed. Okay, so in your office premises only you have a building or you have a room, inside that you keep your servers. Okay, and the servers are connected cable and all. Okay, so then people are sitting in the office and they will access the application. This is the traditional data center. Okay, and this traditional data center we also call it as on premises data center. We also call it as on prem. Why it is on prem? Because it is there where the users are sitting, the premises of the user, the data center is also available. You are working in an office. In that office you have a data room or the data center. Okay, from there you are accessing the application. That is called as the data center. If you go to browsing center or any surfing centers, there they have one small room. They will keep one big proxy servers and all the cables, switches, everything connected there, and one cable will be coming from there, and it will be connected to the desktop, whatever they have kept there. So that is also a data center. If the data center is off, you will not get any data. Correct? The same understanding applicable here also. So data center means where you keep your workloads. The workloads means either your networking, cabling, networking, switches, router, storage devices, or the servers, or the computers, anything for that matter. Okay, that is called as data center. So if the data center is there at your place, at your working place, we call that as the on premises data center. But sometimes that data center is there somewhere in the remote place. Okay, here. This is your remote data center. You are in India, but this is in UK. Okay, Western Europe. Imagine it's in Western Europe. And here you are logging to your computer. Okay, this is your computer and typing www.portal.azure.com. When as soon as you type enter, the connection will be getting established here, the Azure. Okay, so you are sitting in India using this portal with the help of the internet. You are connected to this data center, and this data center somewhere in the remote place. Since the remote place, the data center is in the remote place, I can even call it as remote data center remote data center, or if it is cloud, I can call it as cloud data center. Now you know, I will recall. Now you know what you mean by computer. There are two types of computers. One is client computer, another one is server computer. Client means he consumes the data, server means he serves the data. So, in the traditional way, all the computers and the servers are kept in a place called data center. If the data center is in the same office, we call it as on-premises data center. If the data center is there in a remote place and you are using internet to access it, that such kind of data center we call it as either remote data center or cloud data center. When do we call it as remote data center? If the data center is not in the cloud, you are not using internet to access, but you are using your WAN connection, maybe Airtel or Tata. You have a dedicated lease line between them, between two offices. Okay, that time if you are asking, that is called as remote data center. If you are using internet or if the service provider like Azure, Google or AWS, such kind of data center we call it as cloud data centers. Okay, so then I was talking about the physical data centers, correct? The physical data center, physical servers, and there are two types of computers, guys. Okay, one is physical data center, sorry, physical computer. If you have a physical device at your office and you install OS to it, you install the operating system to it, we call it as physical computer or physical server. Okay, and you have one more called virtual server, virtual machine or physical machine or virtual machine or physical server, virtual server. What do you mean by physical? Any idea what do you mean by physical? What do you mean by physical, guys?
Something that can be able to touch and feel.
Exactly. See, you have your laptop in front of you. Now you connect it, correct na? You can touch and feel the laptop. That is a physical box, correct na? Then we can call it as a physical thing. So similarly, in the data center, you have a big racks or a big computer box. Okay, maybe it is a Dell Latitude or no HP ProLine server box. In that, you install the operating system. That is called as physical server. When virtual means what? Correct. Physical is correct. What do you mean by virtual? Virtual means what? I'm doing the class now. Correct. Now, after COVID, everything is virtual now. Virtual interview, virtual onboarding. Correct. Now, work from home, hybrid work from home. Correct. Now, and now the class, whatever we are doing, that is also virtual only. Correct. Now, what do you mean by virtual? Virtual means which you cannot touch and feel, you can only imagine. Correct. Huh? So, then the new concept came called virtualization. Okay. After the physical to evolve, as and when the technology evolves, this virtualization started. What do you mean by virtualization? Any idea what do you mean by virtualization? Guys, what do you mean by virtualization means what? Any idea? Virtualization is nothing but the process of creating small computers in a big computer. Okay. Say for example, you have a big computer here. This is a single physical box. It has got 100 GB memory. Memory means RAM. Okay, and 100 processor CPUs, and it has got 1 terabyte of storage hard disk. So when I say virtualization, this big box of 100 GB, 100 CPU, 1 terabyte will be getting created into small pieces, and each and every small pieces will act as a different server or different entity. Such technology we call it as virtualization. Okay, we will install in this virtualization means in this box we are going to install a service called hypervisor. Hypervisor. or ESXi host. You might have heard now ESXi host. So once you install the ESXi host, there will be a URL comes, okay, like 172.16.1.10. As soon as you log into this portal, this website, it will give you option of creating the virtual machine, updating the virtual machine, deleting the virtual machine, shut down the virtual machine. You can see, you can control the overall devices. Like if you go to virtual machine, okay, then there is an option called new VM plus, click on it and give some name VM01. It will ask you to give some memory. You give 8 GB memory. It will ask you processor, give around 4 CPU, storage, give 100 GB. Now it will create a new virtual machine with this configuration. Similarly, you create one more virtual machine. You can create one more virtual machine. Within this, all these three virtual machines will be within this hypervisor box. That is called as virtualization. In the cloud also, the same concept is there. Microsoft, AWS, and GCP, Alibaba, or whatever cloud for that matter. What they will do, they will put their own data centers in the remote places, and they will help you to log into the data centers and create the VMs or create the workloads according to your requirement. Okay, that is how this virtualization works. So now we will call server as a server. When you say server, it is a server. We will also call it as a VM. We will also call it as a host. Everything is same only. If I call server, that is the server computer. If I call VM, that is a VM compute. That is also a server. If I call host, that is also a computer only. So anybody talks about this language, a server, VM, host, that is nothing but the server itself. Okay, you got some understanding. Now you learned couple of new terminologies. Okay, let me list out what are those. You learned about data center. First and foremost is computer. Second one is client. Third one is server. Fourth one is VNet. Correct na? Fifth one is um, data center. Sixth one is on premises. Okay. Then remote data center. DC means data center. Then cloud data center or region. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to explain few more. Okay. And ninth one is virtualization. 10th one is hypervisor. 11th one is ESXi host. Okay, so I was telling you, you can create the virtual machine like that. I said create. That creation is nothing but deployment. So if somebody tells you I'm going to deploy a virtual machine, it is nothing but he is creating a virtual machine. If somebody is telling I'm going to onboard this virtual machine, he is going to make this computer in the monitoring available in the monitoring. Deployment means creating means deployment. Onboarding means he is going to put that computer in the monitoring, that is called as onboarding. Offboarding or decommission means he is removing the computer from the monitoring and he is removing the computer from the estate, that is called as offboarding and decommissioning. Okay, so another couple of things are onboarding or offboarding. Okay, and a few more are commissioning and decommissioning. First 3 4 days will be like this, guys. I want you to be, you have I want you to come to the cloud mindset. Basically, you should know the terminologies. when somebody talk to you, okay, you should never talk in a generic language. You should always talk in a technical language. If you want to speak in a technical language, you should know the content. When you to know the content, you know what it is, correct, huh? Now, see, today, even though it is a basic, at least you are now imagining, okay, from the computer how we have evolved, client computer, server computer, and then the physical server, virtual server, data center is there, on premises is there, cloud is there, correct, huh? Virtualization, hypervisor, ESXi host, onboarding and offboarding. So these kind of things you should try to understand initially, okay. So going on, maybe from next week onwards, you will be able to learn even more things, and try to talk in a technical language. Any questions? Any questions, guys?